Hey guys, it's JJ here, back with another lesson of YOUTHDEV101. This is lesson number 8 now. Um, Last time we did CSS, we did some more CSS, and this time we're gonna do some more CSS as well. And first, we're gonna let a couple more people jump on in, give people some more time to come in, and after that, we can get started with the lesson. Hope you guys are excited. Hello to everyone joining in. Still giving people more time to jump in. Hello, Vincent. Hey, Nolan. My day is going pretty good. Had a really nice, productive day today. I got an award from the Cape Coral Police Department, Doing the Right Thing Award. It was a lot of different kids there who did a lot of great things, and I was one of them. So it was a really nice evening. And I hope you guys are excited to get into this lesson. Um, I guess we can just start on to the lesson. If more people jump in, that's okay, but let's start on. So let me share my screen with you guys first. Okay, guys, so like I said, we are gonna be getting more into more CSS because there's a lot of stuff to CSS, and we've probably been working on CSS for like 3 lessons now, but there's just a lot to it. I want to make sure you guys understand it, so we're just gonna do some more. So I know last time last lesson, we did a little bit with styling links. We added some colors to our links, and today we're going to be going to do the same thing, but a little different. Just specifically add a color to a specific way the link is, basically. So, as it says right here, links can be styled differently depending on what state they are in. And these are the 4 states. So, there's the regular link state where it's just a normal link that hasn't been touched, nobody's clicked it. There's a visited link where a user has visited it, so that means they pressed on it and they have visited the site from the link that they pressed on. There's also the hover, so that means whenever you hover over an image, a link, it does something specific. So up here, when you hover over one of these, you're not clicking it, but you just hover over it and they turn black. So you can specify that any type of way as well. And then there's active. So once you press a link, it can change a color or do something else. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to show you guys how to do active and hover, because those are ones that we can actually get something out of. And I want to teach you guys a little bit about that. As you can see over here in this code where they give you a little example, when you hover over this link, it turns pink. It's already green and it turns pink once you hover over it. And then once you press it, you see it turns blue. You see that? How it turns blue. So pretty cool. That's what we are going to try to do today. So before we open our Visual Studio Code or anything, we have to always come over and make ourselves a folder. Can you guys even see this? Okay, so whatever folder you have it in, we're going to make a new folder called Lesson 8, right? And like always, inside of that folder, we make another folder for our images, just in case we decide we want to add any images. And now we can go over to Visual Studio Code and open up that folder to start coding. So open our folder, Lesson 8, and it should start to open up. Here we go. And then, like always, let's make a file to it called index.html, which is where we put our code. Cool. And like always, I always have a coding template that I use, so I don't have to always retype everything. And I told you guys that you guys should try it as well, so it's more easier for you. And it's not just you have to keep, I mean, it's good to remember it after a while, but once you got it down pat, you can just make yourself a little template so you don't have to always type it all the way up. So that's what I do. I just come over here and I copy and paste it over into Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now we are going to try to make a hover link first, okay? So that's when you hover over a link and it changes the color. So how this goes from green to pink once you hover over it. So let's see how we do that. So first, before we make it, we have to make a link, right? So you guys should know how to make a link. Inside of our link, we're going to put some text that we want the reader to see. I want my reader to see www.photopatch.org, okay? And then as always, inside of our A tag, we put href, and we go to get our link. So my link is going to be coming from here. Okay, copy and paste this. Inside of my quotation marks. And now that we have our link, we can save it. And let's open up our index file so we can see what we're creating along the way. And you can see the little tiny link right there. Let me make it bigger. Okay. And just in case you guys can't see this, because sometimes it is hard to see. And to make my text a little bigger, I'm going to make H1 tag around my text so it's easier to see. Okay? So it's bigger. So now we're going to get into how we make a different color pop up when we hover over our link. So inside of our style tag, we're going to put our link's ID. So let's give our link an ID first. And we're going to name it Photo Patch Link. So we know specifically what this link is and what it's used for. And then we come over here and put that ID inside of our style tags. And once we do that, so as you can see right here, in order to make this happen where you hover over link, turn it pink, you have to have this right here, which is one of the link states. So this is the hover state. So let's come over here, and you can either put A and then colon and hover, or if you give your name, your link a ID, instead of putting A, you just put it right next to the ID. And then we want ours to be hover. So then once we do that, we add whatever color we want it to be. So I want my color to be blue. Okay. And once we go over to our index, see how we hover over it and it's blue? Before it's just purple. That's the default color of the link over here. Some default colors are different, but as of right now over here it's just purple. But once you hover over it, it turns blue. See? Pretty cool, right? Now let's see if we can make another one, which we're going to try to do active. So that's once you press on a link and it changes a different color, like how that changes blue when you press onto it. So let's see if we can do that. We're going to come under this, put our ID name, and active, and the color can be, let's do red so it's noticeable when we press it. Refresh our page, and once we click it, see how it turns red? I don't know if it'll, let's see if it works again. See how it turns red once you click onto it? That's what the active does. So when we hover over it, it turns blue, and when we press it, it turns red. Pretty cool, right? And you can do that with many links. There's many different things you can do as well. Like I said, you can do the visit. Once you visit it, it changes a different color, so you know that you have already visited it. Or you can just, like how we did in last lesson, just make it a different color all the way. Cool, right? And we can also do the same thing again with a different link. See? Let's try that. And we could add some different colors to it. So put our A tag. And this time I want to do the unlock.academy website. And let's give this an ID before. And we're going to name it unlock link. When we come up over here, put our ID unlock link and hover. And this time when we hover over it, I want it to be yellow. Oops, I didn't put color. I want the color to be yellow. Oopsie doopsie. So now our Unlock Academy link is over here, and when we hover over it, it turns yellow. So let's make it bigger so you guys can be able to see that it turns yellow. See? Pretty cool, right? Oh, we didn't even add our link. That was just the text. But our link will also do the same thing. And see how it doesn't have the line under it? That's how you know that it's not a link. I know it kind of looked weird. So let's go get our link first. And copy and paste it over here. And once we save it, it's still going to turn yellow. See? Pretty bright. So yeah, basically that's just how you style links in different states. Make it change a different color based on what you do to it. So if you hover over it, if you visit it, if you press it, it may turn a different color. Let's see if we can make this a different color when we press it. Let's make it orange. We do active, and the color can be orange. So now when we come and press on it, oops, I didn't reload the page. It turns orange. Can y'all see that? Yep. Pretty cool. So yeah, that's just basically how you change colors or style links based on what state they are in. And you guys, if you want to test these two out on your own, you can do that as well. But these two, I know for sure, just will give you an outcome based on what I've tried. So I just wanted to show you guys those two cool ones. And also now we're going to talk about some gradients. So oops, let's reload this page. So today we're kind of just going over mostly like colors a little bit. And today we're going to be talking about gradients. So a gradient is just basically one color fading into the next color. So it can go from dark to light. Usually gradients go from light to dark, but it can be either way. And it can go up, down, left, right, probably diagonally. Yeah, it can go diagonally. Anyway, but today we're just going to do up and down. So this is what it will look like to make a gradient. So let's come over here to our try editor to see what that looks like. So right here is where they make their gradient. So a gradient doesn't have a specific like tag. To make a gradient, you make a div, and once you give the div an ID, you come over here and add a height to it. You can add a background color. This is optional, but this is just in case some browsers that don't support gradients. So if you go in a browser and it doesn't allow gradients on this page, you just have a background color as a backup, so there's just nothing there. So there doesn't have to be nothing there. But for browsers that do support it, you put background image, and linear gradient is this from top to bottom, and it can be more than two colors. It can be one color going to the next, or there could also be another color. So I'm going to show you guys what happens when you add another color. So now not only does it go from red to yellow, it goes from red to orange just a little bit, because orange has to go into yellow and then into green. Cool, right? So that's what we're going to try to do over here. So let's see, under our photo patch link, we're going to make a div. And for this one, we're just only going to do two colors. The next one we could do three, but this one I want to show you guys just two. So let's give it an ID called grad1, which just stands for gradient number 1, because we're going to have another gradient as well. And to make it easier so you will know where to find it, we're going to put it under all the photo patch styles. And we're going to put grad 1. Oops. Right? And we're going to give it a height first. So we're going to get a height of 400 pixels, because if you don't give it a height, it won't show up because it has no height, so you're not going to be able to see it. And under that, we're going to do background color, just in case a browser might not support it. Ours probably will, but you want to be always on the safe side, so when somebody comes on your website, it doesn't just pop up blank and they're just looking like, what? So background color is going to be blue, but our background image is where we add our gradient. So we're going to do a linear gradient. And inside of our parentheses, not parentheses, inside of here, we're going to, I don't know why this thing is still up here. We're going to add 2 colors. So let's add purple going into a blue. And don't always get to put your semicolon to close it up. And once we come and save that, now you see we have this gradient going from purple into blue. Pretty cool, huh? And even when you type one color, it doesn't just go from straight purple to straight blue. It fades in from a darker purple to a lighter purple to this lightish blue, and then goes into blue all the way. Because that's what a gradient is. It goes from one color to the next, but kind of smoothly. So it smooths it out. It doesn't just be like 2 colors. Then it kind of doesn't look like a gradient. It kind of looks like 2 colors stacked onto each other. So you want it to go into smoothly, so you have the colors go down into the next color, so it looks good. So that's what a gradient is. Cool, right? So now let's make another one, but this time we're going to make it with 3 colors like how we did over here. Oops. So under our Unlock Academy link is where we're going to put, our next gradient. So we make a div once again. Inside of this div, we add an ID called grad2, which just stands for gradient 2. And once we do that, we go under our Unlock Academy styles and add our ID so we can make another gradient. So as always, at our height, to be able to actually see the gradient, 400 pixels. Under our height background color, just in case a browser does not support it, our gradient, we want to have something there for the user to see. So let's make this background color yellow. And then our background image to make our gradient is going to be a linear gradient, which means go from top to bottom. And we're going to add 3 colors. So we're going to go from yellow to orange to red. And add our semicolon to close it up. Now let's go over here and see what that looks like. Alright, next HTML. Cool, right? So it goes from this bright yellow and it smooths down into this a lightish orange at first, then you can really see the orange in this area, and then it simmers down into this dark red. Really nice. And I think that you can make gradients behind images. I'm not really sure, but you can always Google that to make sure. But um, I don't know that for sure. You can just make regular gradients, and if you can't make a gradient for an image, you can always just like put it as a background color or background image for a website that just makes it look really cool. It can be even like a little gradient of like one color, so like a light pink kind of going into a darker pink, if that's like your thing. But gradients just really nice because they're like colorful and it shows many colors at once, not just one colors. And if you have like different colors like on your website for like a business, it's really good to use because you can probably fit all of your colors into there. So pretty nice. So far we just did how to make a link change colors when you hover over it and click onto it, and also make some gradients. And we learned how to make a 2-color gradient and a 3-color gradient. Now we're going to learn how to do image opacity. So image opacity just basically, like it says up here, specify the opacity or transparency of an element. So basically just specify how much you can see an image. So how light the images be, or how dark the image, or how apparent the image is. So sometimes images, some things are just a little transparent. So it's kind of just like behind the scene, you can kind of see it, but not that much. It's just kind of like there a little bit, not all the way. Like here you can see it all the way, and over here it's just like you can see it fade a little bit. So that's what we're gonna do today, some opacity. So basically how much you can see an image. The opacity amount can go from 0 to 100 or 0.0 to 1, making 1 the highest. The lower the opacity is, the more transparent the image is. So let's find out how to do that, guys. Any questions? Am I going too fast? You guys want me to slow down, go over anything? If everything's good, then we can keep on going and try to do opacity of ourselves. So over here, as you can see, the opacity of this image is 0.5. So let's see. And this is another way to do opacity. This is what I think people used to use. This is way much easier. Just put in opacity and then the amount that you want it to be. Don't have to worry about that at all. So let's see if we try to do 0.2. See how it goes way lighter than before? And then let's see if this will work. No, that doesn't work. Oh, it does work. See how there's just nothing there at all? So that means it's totally transparent. Like you can't see it. 0.1 probably a little bit more apparent, and it goes all the way up to 1. So the higher you get, the more apparent it becomes. See? And then all the way up to 1 just looks like this. Cool, right? So now we can figure out how to do that on our own. So first, let's go find us an image. So I want to come over here and grab an image. Let's see. Save image as. computer's going a little slow. Sorry, guys. In our Youth Dev 101 folder, lesson 8, inside of our image folder, and I'm going to name it Photo Batch Kids. Okay. Now we're going to come over here and under, not in our style, under our gradient for our photo batch part, we're going to put our image. So image source equals images slash photo batch kids, and like always, our picture is going to pop up over here. Cool. And now you see how it's totally apparent. We're going to make that image just a little bit less apparent. So a little bit transparent. So under here, first let's give our image an ID so we know which one that we are using. So ID equals photo batch kids. All right. So up here, let's put our ID. And now we're going to put opacity. Just put over here, it gives it to me. And why is it saying that? Oh, probably because this isn't finished. We're going to put opacity of 0.5. So just a little bit less apparent. And when we come over here, see how it just kind of gets a little bit less apparent. And as I showed you guys over here, it can go all the way to 0, which means it doesn't show at all. Or it can go to 1 where it's totally apparent. And most images are already like that. Most images are already at a 1. You can see them perfectly clear. Some may not be. So you can always just change that on your own. Or if you want to make a website and you just want it to be you want people to kind of see it, but not see it all the way. You don't want it to be kind of the center of attention. You can kind of change the opacity and make it a little bit transparent. So it's like, okay, I can kind of see it, but it's not really all the way there. So now let's see if we can make one a little bit lighter than that. Let's see, I'm just going to use this one. And I'm going to save it as my speech. Enter. Now, come on over to our code. And over here, we're going to make our image tag, image source equals images slash my speech. And let's go over here and make sure that our image pops up. Okay, it's there. And as always, it's all the way apparent, all the way there. You can see it all the way. Now, let's see what happens when we try to make it a little bit more lighter. Oh, did we give our image an ID? I don't think so. So let's give it an ID called JJ Speech. Come over here and put JJ Speech because that's our ID. And inside up here, we're going to put opacity of 0.1. Not 12. 1. 1. Save that. And See how it's like super, super, super light? Like you can barely see what it is, kind of. Like you can see a little bit, but it's like just a tiny, tiny bit. Let's see if we make it to 0.2. Let's see if we can see it a little bit more better. So see, yeah, you can see it just a little bit more better. So like I said, the lower it is, the less you can see it. The higher it is, the more you can see it. So as you can see, like this one is super, super light because it's right now at 0.2. And this one is at 0.5, and you see the way more than this one. And now I just changed this to 0.3, and it's a little bit better. But as you can see, this one is more apparent than this one. Any questions? You guys feel good about that? Need me to go over anything? Hopefully this was pretty easy. Let's see. So I'm making a poll right now to see how you guys are feeling about this. Okay. So I just made a poll to see how you guys are doing. Okay, Noah says I'm good. Okay, so it looks like mostly everybody said that everything's good. So if that's the case, then we can just end off with this. That was it. That was pretty quick, guys. Next lesson for homework's going to be a little bit more different this time. Once again, you guys just copy what I did. Have some links that when you hover over it, change colors. Press it, change colors. Have some gradients. One that has 2 colors, one that has 3, and some images that's has different opacity numbers. Okay. I want you guys to be getting this, and I want you guys to really, really, like, not do exactly what I did, but just something like it so you guys can get it and actually have the knowledge, because the more you practice, the more easier it gets, the more you understand it, the more you'll be able to have the knowledge for it. That's how I learned. I practiced, and not only did I just like watch videos and stuff on it or like read about it, I also did like homework activities on it and all types of different activities so I can get more used to it and actually understand it. And now I'm teaching you guys. So that's why I wanted to make sure that you guys are getting this and actually get some hands-on homework so you can, just like at school, when you get homework, is to make sure that you actually get it and that you get more practice with it to have it down packed. So yeah, that's all. Next lesson, we'll probably start getting into making our websites a little bit more prettier and nicer, or at least just more structured. Now that we've learned a lot about CSS and you guys have HTML down packed, next lesson we can probably get into making our web pages look a little bit more structured and a little bit more nice. Okay? Not saying that these are bad, but just more presentable. So yeah, guys, that's it for the lesson. Hopefully it was easy for you guys, not too much, and see you guys next week for lesson 9.